New York Fed President Bill Dudley making the case for King Dollar in his latest Bloomberg opinion piece, writing the following: America derives immense benefits from the dollar's dominance, a position that countries such as China and Russia are seeking to contest. By addressing the problem of cross-border payments, the US could boost the global economy and cement its central role therein. Bill joins us now for more. Bill, welcome to the program. Lots of topics to cover. Let's kick off with this one right here. You started with a premise, so let's talk about it. The immense benefits from the dollar's dominance. Let's start there. But what are they?
Well, I think the dollar is the linchpin of global financial markets. So we get what's called the exorbitant privilege of people wanting to hold dollar-denominated assets. So that makes the cost of funding in the United States less than if the dollar was not viewed as the key currency in the global economy. But that's not necessarily ordained forever, and other steps we can do to make that more likely to be sustained in the future. And one thing is to make some progress on cross-border payments. Payments cross-border are extremely expensive, especially for small retail payments like remittances. They cost maybe as much as 6-7%. This could be brought down tremendously if we developed instant payment systems nationally and then linked them together. A number of countries have good instant payment systems. Brazil, India, for example. The U.S. is basically nowhere. We have two systems, but nobody uses them. Everybody uses cards and debit cards, Venmo or PayPal. So we need to do something to reinvigorate the U.S. instant payment systems. And then once we have that, we need to start to take steps and to link it together with other instant payment systems around the world. If we do that, we can actually lower the cost of payments dramatically and cement the dollar as a key reserve currency.
Do you see the Fed actually getting on this in any capacity in the near term, considering that they have their hands full with their mandate and a lot of controversy around it?
Well, I think you need some support from the administration and Congress. The countries that have been successful in this have basically had mandates. They basically said you need to actually offer this service to your banking customers. In the United States, it's completely voluntary. And since it's completely voluntary, the two instant payment systems we have, FedNow and RTX, are basically not used by virtually anybody. So they exist. But if they're not used, then how can that be advantageous to link that into an international regime?
So could XRP actually help stabilize the US dollar? What's going up, Bull Runners? Welcome back to the channel. Glad to have you guys here. Imagine a world where every piece of property that you own, every piece of art, and even your daily commodities could be traded as easily and securely as sending an email. Welcome to the revolutionary era of the real world asset tokenization, where the boundaries between physical and digital assets blur into one seamless financial landscape. But there's a catch. The digital economy stands at the brink of a major transformation, but the mysterious roadblock lingers: the lack of clear regulatory guidelines. This uncertainty has left many investors and innovators in the shadows, unsure of how to proceed. However, the solution is on the horizon, glistening like gold. With the SEC impending decision on its new chair, we're on the cusp of clarity that could unblock $1 trillion in market. Ripple has stepped up, offering a comprehensive guide to real-world asset tokenization, lighting the path forward. By tokenizing real-world assets, we can democratize investment, increase liquidity, and secure in transactions like never before. But how can we navigate this complex landscape without getting lost? Time is not on our side. As we speak, the world's financial giants are racing to tokenization assets, from real estate to commodities, potentially reshaping the global economy. If you're not part of this shift, you're risking being left behind in the old world of traditional finance. The SEC's delay in setting a clear crypto agenda under Hester Pierce's watch means that every day without regulation could be a day of missed opportunities. The future is now, and it's moving faster than you think. So today we're going to be diving deeper into this Hester Pierce scenario. SEC is waiting for a chair before setting crypto agenda. And we're going to head over to Ripple's blog, where they just came out with a really powerful blog about real world assets, tokenization explained. We're going to get into the details of this. And as always, before we jump into the main articles and headlines, we're going to jump over to X and find out what is breaking that could matter for you right now in the crypto world. We will also look at XRP in the charts. We do have some really positive news in the charts today. Our momentum trend cycle has finally flipped back up from its reset at 0, and our long-term momentum wave is starting to turn back to the upside. Once we crest over the 0 line, we will be back into bullish posture per this indicator. We also have a buy signal per this indicator that just flashed yesterday. By the way, none of this information is financial advice. Do not buy or sell anything because we talk about on this channel. It's just financial entertainment. If you would like to know these indicators, I use the Wolfpack indicator, Wolfpack ID, and also the shaft trend cycle. We'll get into that more later in the video. But first, let's look at the overall health of the crypto market. This morning at 5:30 Pacific time, there was a mass panic when the new information came out about inflation, showing that the United States is still under heavy pressure of inflation, even though the previous administration was lying over and over and over, saying it was over. The real numbers come out, and we had a dramatic drop to the downside all throughout crypto. However, today, we've got great news because there was an immediate recovery all day long. Market cap currently sitting at $3.2 trillion, up 2.15%. Fear and greed index is currently sitting at 35. Yesterday was a 37. Last week was a 38. And last month was a 48. So have we hit a short-term bottom to where we can now start to turn back to the upside? We'll take a closer look at that. We're getting a tiny bit of good news for altcoin season. It is starting to turn up. If you remember, it bottomed out at a 28 February 6th and slowly is starting to climb back up, now sitting at 41. And as you're all awaiting the XRP ETF announcement, just a quick follow-up on what's going on with ETFs. Today's net inflow is minus $44 million. Bitcoin has sold off while Ethereum continues to grow in its holdings for the ETF. Top 5 trending coins, according to CoinMarketCap, got Bitcoin at number 1, Pi at number 2, Ethereum at number 3, Layer at number 4, and Cake at number 5. And we do have a big shakeup in the top 5 coins by market cap. As always, Bitcoin coming in at number 1, currently trading at 97,000, Ethereum at 2,600, Tether at $1, and XRP at number 4. But the big shakeup, BNB having a massive push to the upside, up 10% in the last 24 hours, 23% in the last 7 days, overtaking Solana for the number 5 spot, currently sitting at $699.
We just launched Altcoin Pro University, where our research team gives you real-time altcoin picks with explosive potential for this bull run, along with 100+ expert curated classes crafted by industry experts to discover these gems yourself, on top of our live weekly calls every single week for in-depth crypto market analysis and daily updates. And that's just a fraction of what we offer inside of Altcoin Pro University. Just go through the link in the description below, get in right now, watch the 26-minute video covering everything that Altcoin Pro University offers.
Jumping back over here to X, as we saw in the intro of the video, just in, Bretton Woods committee chair says progress on cross-border payments will cement the dollar as a key reserve currency. Does anyone know of an American company tackling this problem? Ripple, XRP Community, and XRP Subjective Views posted this. So is XRP like literally going to help save the United States dollar dominance? We know that the BRICS currency was coming out and they were trying to take out the United States dollar as the supreme currency. That was during the Biden administration when they were kind of wanting that to happen themselves as well, so that they could essentially take out the United States power play. With Donald Trump coming back in, setting his power in place and recovering the United States dominance across the world, and also bringing back the United States dollar dominance across the world. But we know Ripple is there and XRP trades on. Will XRP save the United States dollar? Quite an amazing scenario. And speaking of Ripple and XRP saving something, did you know that Brad Garlinghouse helped save the Trump coin? Bank XRP posted, and a lot of other people have been posting this video around, but Ripple's Brad Garlinghouse and Mike Novogratz lent MoonPay $160 million to launch the Trump token. Now, this is an absolute wild story, so I have to share it with you. It is a little bit longer side, so I'm going to speed it up at 1.5 speed so you can listen to the whole thing.
I saw a tweet from MoonPay, 750,000 new MoonPay accounts in the last 7 days. What should they buy next? You just told me a crazy story that is linked to one of my previous podcast guests, Mike Novogratz. Can we go deeper into that?
Can I give you the a little bit longer version?
Yeah,
I'll give you a very brief version. Ivan and I going for, my phone starts blowing up hundreds of texts. Everyone is like, Trump just launched me. And it went to $4.6 billion. Like, now, I don't know. We had a meeting next morning at 8 a.m. The whole goal was we wanted to have the meeting, and then we were going to finally take a break for the whole day. We're just going to relax. We finished the meeting, have breakfast, we're going through sort of what we need to do to follow up. Then we walk back to the hotel. I'm so happy to go back in. We get a call. Mona calls our CFO and says, Keith, we have a problem. Trump coin is so popular. And because the Trump team directed it towards Moonshot, we had no clue that this was even going. Moonshot has the exclusive rails in Moonshot. The volumes were just gigantic. All of the liquidity that we use to sort of hire the crypto to sell the crypto, was locked in BlackRock accounts in a traditional finance sort of manner. And it's Saturday of a holiday weekend during the inauguration. So we have no access to our capital. All of the reserves that we have are dwindling really fast. Well, Mona, how much money do we need to raise? And she's like, it's not money. We need crypto to be able to buy this, right? We need USDC. How much do we need? She goes, doing the math at the current rate, $50 million by midnight tonight, 11 o'clock in the morning. Okay. Ivan's like, okay, are we sure? She does the math again. Honestly, the rate that this token is growing and the demand that we're seeing, $100 million. Fine, $100 million by when? Midnight tonight. By the way, we know that on Tuesday we can pay it all back because we have the money in the bank. It's just we have no access to it. So I text Mike, I'm sorry to bother you on the weekend. Do you have a minute to chat? In a minute, he texts back. We get on the phone with him, and Ivan and I explain the situation. And Mike says, well, guys, I like you both. I like the team. It's good for the space. How much do you need? $100 million. Mike goes, okay, no problem. Let me see what I can do. Whole conversation, 2 minutes. 5 minutes later, we get a call from Mike's team, the team of Galaxy. Absolutely amazing. So we start scrambling, the finance team, everyone's scrambling to get all the forms going. Later in the day, it turns out that we get a call. They can't confirm that the funds are real because it's a Saturday and no one at BlackRock is picking up the phone call. And they can't confirm if they're liens. And so fortunately, Lindsay Haswell, our chief legal officer, sits on the board of BlackRock's ETF. She's calling her friends at BlackRock. We get someone who can confirm the funds. Chris over at Galaxy calls up. He's like, guys, hand on heart, give me your word that no liens on these funds. In the meantime, after we gave our word, they asked Ivan to personally pledge his entire life, his entire personal net worth on the line for this loan. Not even a discussion. Signs away, pledges his entire life. We call Ivan's sisters up, goes to his house to access a computer, get some Bitcoin to liquidate. And he's liquidating his personal Bitcoin and sending it to MoonPay to make sure that we stay up and running. And finally, at 11 o'clock at night, the money comes through $100 million. So I go to sleep at 1 o'clock in the evening. At that point, Trump coin was, I think, $26-30 billion. I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and I'm thinking to myself, finally, a day that I can rest. And I look at my phone and Trump coin is $70 billion. And I look at my computer, there's a Slack message from our head of product, JD. Ivan, Keith, did yesterday was amazing. But if we don't raise another $60 million today, we're going to run out of money for morning. The rate that we're going, this thing is just picking up. Just if you completely run out of money, what does it mean? When people try to buy crypto with MoonPay, just sorry, it doesn't work. We had 750,000 registrations, right? So I'm giving you the perspective of Ivan and I raising capital, but at the same time, the operations team is working nonstop. Melania's sort of launch happened at the same time. It essentially was the equivalent of a DDoS attack on his servers, right? Because it's just everything full force. Ivan comes running over to my room in his bathroom. And so Ivan goes, you know who I could text if I think could come through is Brad normally is. So Ivan texts Brad at 7. Brad responds immediately. He says, no, bro, guys, beat me on all the story at 10:45 in the morning. And Ivan goes into explaining to him, yesterday Novogratz gave us $100 million. We underestimated the demand of this Trump token. And Brad goes, well, listen, same thing as Mike. I'm going to call our CFO and chief legal officer. Here's the deal. I want to help you, but you got to get Novo's team to approve it, which is fair. They helped us out the night before, and it was the right thing. To Galaxy's team's credit, they're like, listen, guys, if they repaper everything, you're never going to make your deadline at the end of the day. It's 5 o'clock at night. What we suggest is, why doesn't Ripple wire the money to Galaxy and the Galaxy can wire the money to? And at 11:58 on Sunday, another $60 million comes in. Monday comes around and the acquirers start to pay us back from the votes in Europe, but it's still a holiday in the US. Tuesday comes around, we have access to our capital again. All of the US acquirers start to pay us back. And by Tuesday, I think around 2:58 in the afternoon, we paid back the entire loan. What I walked away from was, these are just two amazing individuals. To the level that, when you said that you had never Brad's on your podcast, you spoke to him. If Mike or Brad ever needed a kidney, I should be the first call they give. I would give both my kidneys. To put into context how big the Trump coin was, the Melania coin was, and how it impacted MoonPay. Over the course of a week, we onboarded 750,000 consumers. That was my weekend, which was, I hope. And then I go back to New York for 2 days and fly here to Istanbul. Okay. And tell us the story. Tell you the story. This is the first time I told the story publicly.
What an absolute wild story. And on top of that, as I mentioned, Bank XRP made that post. And then David Schwartz comes in and says, so I guess this is public now, with a big giant smiley face. So literally Brad Garlinghouse and the team wired $60 million emergency funds to help launch the Trump token. And speaking of David Schwartz, he illustrates the efficiency gains from tokenization. And we'll go into the details of the real world asset tokenization information here in just a moment.
I'm David Schwartz, and this is Crypto in a Minute. Tokenization can improve efficiency by eliminating some of the problems with asset transfer and ownership. If you've ever bought a house, you know that it's very complicated to determine who owns a house. There's a lot of paperwork involved with the sale, recording the sale. There's a risk of fraud in the delivery of the payment and, of course, in being able to prove ownership of the asset. Tokenization can eliminate all those problems by using digital distributed ledgers to track the ownership of assets. That also simplifies things like if you want to borrow against an asset, use the asset for collateral, the person who's providing you the loan can more easily determine that you own the asset, and they can make sure that you aren't borrowing from a number of different lenders. Boom. Didn't even take a minute.
All right, so here's the blog. And as you know, if you've been following along, you're subscribed to the channel, you know I cover about real world assets a lot because I believe that this is where the real money is. Obviously, cross-border payments is a big deal. And as you saw, it could potentially factor into the power of the United States dollar long term. But real world assets is where the real amount of value, we're talking trillions of dollars coming into the XRP ledger because of this. So what are real world assets and what is real world asset tokenization? Well, the definition of a real world asset tokenization, it involves converting ownership of real world assets like mutual funds, real estate, bonds, commodities into digital tokens on a blockchain. And this process bridges the gap between physical and digital worlds, offering new ways to manage and trade these assets. And along with that comes some major benefits. Of course, there's the liquidity. Tokenized assets can be traded more easily, especially for traditionally illiquid assets like real estate or art, by allowing fractional ownership. So what does that mean? Well, let's say that you wanted to buy a house and you want to buy it as an investment property and you want to buy it with 3 or 4 of your friends. Well, you could draw up an LLC and you could buy this house, and you could potentially, if you have some rich buddies, bring them in on the deal. And I'm not sure if you guys know this, but I'm actually a real estate agent, real estate investor in Orange County, California. And we do this quite frequently, right? We have joint venture contracts and we partner on flips and things of that nature. But what if you could have 5,000 people buy a house, and then when you flip the house, you distribute it out to everyone equally? Or what? Let's say you wanted to buy a piece of art and you went into it as an investment with multiple friends. You wanted to buy a Picasso and you wanted to go in with 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 people, and you can all have an equal share of that. Well, that is what's now a possibility as far as the liquidity. Accessibility as well. It democratizes access to investments, enabling small investors to participate in markets that were previously exclusive to large investors due to high entry costs. So again, going back to that house, that 5,000 people also could be from anywhere. What if you had someone from Germany that wanted to buy some, France that wanted to buy some of this house that's based in the United States, in California specifically, but wherever, it doesn't matter. Now, anybody around the world could actually have an opportunity to buy into these. Efficiency, of course, blockchain technology reduces times, cost, intermediaries, making asset management more efficient. In fact, we're about to close on a house. I've got a house in escrow that we listed and it's officially sold. As of, well, it's not official until it's official. So February 14th, it will close escrow, but it's been such a long drawn out process. And there was 7, 8 steps in between, back and forth negotiations with multiple middlemen in the middle. You got inspections, you got appraisals, all very important stuff, which you should still get done. But there is a huge logjam when it comes to buying and selling houses. And of course, the transparency and security. The use of blockchain ensures transactions are transparent and secure with records that are immutable and verifiable. Now, going back to the house, you want to verify who actually owns the house, right? So you have to be able to track that. Another important thing is when it comes to art, we talked about art a little bit and how important that could be when it comes to tokenizing a Picasso, for example. Well, you know that there's a lot of people out there that make fake Picassos and they do fraud with those Picassos and they try to sell them on the black market and so on. Well, the beautiful thing is with putting a piece of art or anything tokenized, you'll have what's called provenance. You'll be able to prove that you actually own the actual piece of art that you say that you own. So that'll provide a lot of security. And then that even goes farther into, you heard about, there's a company out there called VeChain who was supposed to be doing this with logistics companies like Louis Vuitton. They're going to be able to track each bag so they can prove it's not counterfeit. But we can do all of that now on XRP Ledger as well. The market potential is huge. The future for real-world tokenization, real-world asset is no longer the distant hope as it used to be. It's actively reshaping finance as we know it right now. Growing institutional adoption by banks, asset managers, and even governments has fueled predictions that this market could reach $16 trillion in tokenized assets by 2030. By expanding the tokenized ecosystem on XRPL and supporting both enterprise and DeFi adoption of real-world assets, Ripple is helping to transform global finance and make tokenized assets more secure, accessible, and efficient for all. There are some challenges, obviously, in this field as well. Despite the potential, challenges include regulatory compliance, ensuring security against fraud, and the need for widespread adoption and infrastructure to support tokenized assets. And that's really the thing, right? So this is something that's barely starting to catch on, because still in crypto, the big thing is meme coins, right? I haven't made money doing this, that, and the other. But we talked about DPIN a couple of videos ago, and now real world assets continue. We're starting to see the evolution of Web3, the next evolution of the internet. And there are going to be some challenges that come along with that, of course. So getting started, Ripple has pointed out their 4 main fields of interest. There's going to be tokenized treasuries, real estate, tokenized debt, and yield strategies, because this is the easiest and most significant way that you can introduce yourself into these industries. But why XRPL for this, right? The XRPL offers a unique advantage for issuers of tokens, real world assets. Creating a token on XRPL is incredibly simple. Tokens are immediately available for trading on its decentralized exchange, and there is no need for specialized programming language or complex smart contracts. The built-in DEX and auto-bridging features simply on-chain trading, and transactions settle in 3 to 5 seconds at fractions of a cent. The XRPL also features institutional-grade security, having processed over 2.8 billion transactions since 2012, with 0 security breaches. This is complemented by regulatory-ready features like support for decentralized identifiers, or DIDs, and verifiable credentials, VCs, for on-chain compliance. So we'll continue to bring you updated information on real-world assets on XRPL. This is massive. This is huge. $16 trillion market opportunity going on to the ledger. But as you heard there, there's some concerns, and that's the regulatory clarity. We don't have official regulatory clarity still. So let's jump into this. Donald Trump nominated Paul Atkins for the commissioner of the SEC following the departure of Gary Gensler. Hester Pierce, who heads the SEC right now for the crypto task force, said the agency will likely wait until Senate confirms a chair before deciding on agenda for digital assets. Commissioner Pierce said it was a little premature for the SEC to begin settling a regulatory agenda for cryptocurrencies without a chair confirmed by the Senate who could actually make the change. Acting Chairman Ueda is doing a great job and the agenda is working. We haven't stopped working, said Pierce, but we assume that sometime soon, if Chairman Atkins is confirmed as chairman, he'll come in and want to see this agenda. When it comes to Atkins, lawmakers in the Senate Building Committee had yet to consider his nomination, which would require a majority of senators present to choose to move Trump's pick to the chamber for a full floor vote. Following the formation of the SEC's crypto task force, the commission requested delays for at least 2 of its previously filed enforcement actions in different jurisdictions, suggesting that the agency's work in developing a regulatory framework could affect its position. An Illinois judge granted the SEC request for a 30-day extension in crypto case against Cumberland DRW, but a District of Columbia court has not responded to a similar request in the commission's case against Binance at the time of publication. Pierce and Ueda, both Republicans, currently sit on the SEC with Democratic Commissioner Caroline Crenshaw. It's unclear whether Trump intends to nominate a 5th commissioner to fill the leadership at the financial regulator should Atkins be confirmed. Hey, bull runners, are you feeling FOMO about this bull run without the right financial support? We're here to change that. We're not just about funding, we're about growing your business together. Whether you're investing in crypto, kicking off a new startup, managing your existing business, or looking to expand, we have personalized funding that meets your exact needs. Imagine starting your business or getting capital to invest $100,000 to $250,000 at 0% interest. That's not a dream, it's what we do. We've helped countless entrepreneurs like you with 0% interest funding without needing personal funds, income verification, or collateral. With just a 680 credit score, you qualify. We understand that your business can't wait, so take advantage of our quick funding approach. We look beyond the credit score with inclusive approval process that sees the big picture of your business or investment potential. Our flexible repayments are tailored to match your business cycles, ensuring you can manage repayments without strain. With access to our extensive lending network of over 5,000 options, we're committed to finding the perfect match for your business or investing needs. Plus, you'll have our dedicated team by your side, guiding you through every step of the funding journey. Whether it's buying crypto, hiring new employees, or launching a new product, we're committed to your success. Click the link to connect with our expert advisors and secure your business's future now.